people get really freaked out at the idea of selling. You're instantly like this creepy car salesman if you actually try to close somebody at some point. So, Gavin, a question that comes up a lot is around when it's okay to sell, because people get really freaked out at the idea of selling. You're instantly like this creepy car salesman if you actually try to close somebody at some point, which is really sad because that's our whole objective as conversion copywriters, is to take the relationships we've been building and take all of this good stuff that we're doing and actually turn it into a sale to keep a business growing and doing more good for the people that it serves. So, with that in mind, I have some questions around when it's a good time to sell. Like, when should we be totally okay with selling? And my question for you is, should we try to sell in email? And if so, or if not, why? And if you could just kind of walk us through a thought process around when it's a good time to sell in email in particular.
Yeah, sure. So the short answer is yes. Sell in email, of course. Email is one of the best ways to sell online, especially if you have a good relationship with your list. If you've been abusing your list, that's a different story. I hope you haven't done that. I'm sure you guys haven't done that. I'm sure you don't do that, Joe.
Never.
Yep. Okay.
Hope not. I hope
suspect.
So.
You're very suspect. So if you're going to sell to a list, I think it's important that the first thing you do is you set up that relationship before they opt in. Tell them what they can expect. Tell them if, hey, I'm going to email you 3 times a week. I'm going to email you once a month. Set up the relationship and then you stick to that. So one of the companies that I work for, we email 4 times a week. And we tell them that we're going to email 4 times a week. And secondly, we tell them that we're going to advertise to them. And so they sign up to that list with that full kind of knowledge. There's a guy called Ben Settle, who's a kind of renowned email marketer, pretty aggressive. He'll have you actually tick a box before submitting your email address that is like, it's you admitting or accepting that he's going to write to you every single day and he's going to sell to you every day. And if you don't like it, don't come on board. So I think that's important. Set it up. You don't have to be that aggressive. Just need to be honest. Hey, I'm going to email you and I'm going to give you all this value, but I'm going to, we're going to advertise you to sometimes as well. Let's be honest. I'm a business and people accept that. That's cool.
And those who don't accept it, get off your list, right? If you don't accept it, then unsubscribe. And now you don't have to worry when you're writing that someone's going to complain because the expectations have been set. Yeah.
I think that's and if people start to complain, that's kind of just disrespectful, and you don't have to be concerned or upset about that. That you can kind of be like, that person's getting weird. Lots of people.
It's them. It's not me.
Yeah. If you've told them, they're being weird. So don't worry about it. So my next point is that you don't want to slam them with constant promotional copy in your emails. Personally, I think that's too much. I think you want a mixture of editorial or content, stuff where you give value to them, where they think, gee, I'm glad I'm on this list. Even better than that is that they can't wait to open your emails because they're so entertaining. That's ideal. And then, every second, third, fourth, whatever you decide your schedule is going to be, that can be a promotional email. However, your editorial or your content can still sell. And there's 2 ways to do that. One is to do editorial mentions, just like, hey, by the way, I've got a sale going at the moment. You can check it out here. Okay, now let's get into what I'm going to talk to you about today. Something like that. And then the second one is something I call a space ad, which is like a little ad in the middle of your content. And you can say above that, content continues below, and they'll have a look at it, or they'll just blank it out or whatever. These will not do as well as a promotional email that you've written out according to copy principles, but they are a chance for you to sell in a kind of less aggressive way if you choose to do that. And I think you should. you're putting time and effort into composing that email and thinking about the customer and giving value. It's not too much to just put a little editorial mention or a PS or something like that in there.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good tip. Yeah, if you have already set up that you're delivering value, you should be allowed to also close that value sort of loop by saying, okay, now you're ready for what's next. The next level is this. Yeah, sorry, you were talking though.
No, that's cool. That's I agree. I think the other natural way is like if you've just talked, and I see a lot of people doing this, a lot of people, you talk on a topic and then, do you want more of this? Okay, click here to go and get it. That's I think that's a pretty soft sell as well, something you can do in your content emails. And the last thing I want to mention with selling in email is that if you're not selling today, but you've got a product planned, you can start telling them about it today. And I don't think they'll mind that. In fact, I know they don't. In fact, they get excited and you will sell more when your product finally launches. So that can be as simple as like, hey, quick note, I just wanted to say in 2 weeks' time, I'm launching my new Copyhackers product, right?
Okay,
it's going to be da-da-da-da-da-da. This is what you're going to get. Okay, but you can't get that for 2 weeks, so let's get back to it. And you're just kind of teasing that something's coming in the future. I think that's another way to boost your sales without, it's not an aggressive sales thing. It's just letting them know that there's some good stuff coming.
Yeah. And even with, I do that. I do actually a lot for everything that's about to come. Like if a blog post is coming tomorrow, I'll tend to write to you about it the day before and say like, here's why you should be looking forward to tomorrow, to kind of build that anticipation. And then also for selling, for sales related stuff, if you know something's coming out in a week or 2 weeks, you can say, if you really want to hear about that, click here. And then of course, when they click, they get tagged in your email platform as somebody who's a good prospect. And then you sell more directly to them and more softly to those people who didn't click. Yeah,
building a hot list of they're going to be the big money makers, I guess.
Yes, where you can like more aggressively sell to them because they asked you to, and the ones that didn't ask you to, you more softly sell to them. But in all cases, you're actually, increasing your conversion rate by being okay with selling.
I just had this thought. I started thinking that if you had people that had complained about advertising, if you could segment your list, you could have a content only list where they would only ever get soft sells and content emails first. And they would be exempt from your promotional kind of copy.